What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 6th day of September, and here we are, sitting at about $110.10 thousand, 9 hours, 49 minutes left in the day. Pretty neutral day so far, pretty boring day, and you know why that is. It's because it's Saturday. We don't do anything on Saturday. We don't do anything at all. It's typically a very boring day, actually. So I would expect that it continues to be boring. And Saturdays, I feel like predominantly since July at least that I've noticed they've been red. Let's put this on real quick. Hold on. Is it this one? I think it's this one. Yeah, cyclic lines. Let's get it on Saturday. Saturday right here. We'll start off with a green Saturday. Oh no, it's a red Saturday. Never mind. Okay, Saturday to Saturday here. If you notice, right, red, red, green, red, 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 green, probably red. Probably going to be red, probably. If we go back further than that, I'm pretty sure that most of them have been red as well. But just neutral also. If you notice, like a lot of these aren't even that big of days. Like this was the biggest day you had here, and that was 1.2% to the downside. But that was also after a very big volatile day to the upside. So I don't expect it. I mean, we did have a pretty big volatile day yesterday, but I don't expect today to be too detrimental. Let's look at the short-term stuff, and then we'll zoom back out to the daily time frame. Okay, 1 hour time frame here. Seriously, man, like the fact that the last Saturday was green and we're green on this Saturday already, if you go short right now and you just have like tight take profit areas, you'll probably do all right. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I would assume that we're moving down. 1 hour time frame here, looking at the RSI. It's actually kind of bullish, not going to lie. You know, you're getting overbought and you're not getting oversold, bouncing off the 40, but it's like, why aren't you getting above the 50? Why are you living below the 50? Why are you doing this? It's not bearish, though. Higher lows, flat top. I'm not bearish on that. So maybe we move up, maybe. But if you keep rejecting the 50, if you get below that 40, and really maybe even if you just break below this higher low kind of trend, that'll tell you all you need to know. Typically, you do range between the 40 and the 60 until you pick a direction. So the fact that you're hitting the 40 but not breaking the 50, that makes me a little bit skeptical. But I would say, if anything, it looks more positive here than it does negative, but neutral. Stochastics, if we close here or lower, we've got 47 minutes left in this 1 hour time frame, so there's a lot of time to go. If we close here or lower in this 1 hour time frame, which is looking kind of off to a bearish start at the moment, that would reject the 50, and that's not a positive look in itself. The MACD overall is bearish, but he did just cross green, though I'm not impressed. Overall, I'm getting very neutral readings on the 1 hour time frame, and that's fair because today has been very neutral, so that's fair. If I had to guess, I'm still sticking with the downside, not because it's Saturday, but just because I feel an overall kind of air of bearishness in the room. And the stochastics, to me, are kind of suggested that we go lower. The RSI is just not impressive enough, and neither is the MACD, so I'm going to stick with the idea that we go down. Right? Most of these bigger candles on the price action are to the downside, not to the upside. That doesn't mean that we have to go down, but you know, whenever it was the other way around, when the bigger candles were to the upside, not the downside, well, we did move up. Just kind of something that you look for sometimes. 4 hour time frame here, if we're looking at this, it almost looks like a diamond top, doesn't it, in this relative range here? Like you've got this little diamond right there. Maybe it is. And in which case, again, if we move up, that doesn't mean that we're moving up. We might move up a little bit to 112K, and then we come back down. Sometimes diamond tops, they break out one direction, they eat back that opposite direction. 4 hour time frame does look a little bit more bearish, right? Shifting the momentum. Getting overbought, not getting oversold, that's good, but then rejecting the overbought zone, that's not good. Living below the 50 here, more predominantly than living above the 50. Stochastics look bearish. Though I will admit this little turnaround here without getting oversold is somewhat bullish, but you're not doing bullish things with it. Whenever you have bullish things going for you, but you're not doing bullish things with it, that makes me a little bit skeptical. The MACD, overall bullish, I suppose, but you do have bearish divergence. That's already been played out. So kind of neutral, but to a bullish effect. I would stick, bearish here, bearish there. At least bearish momentum is shifting on both of these. And then here, kind of bullish overall. You're decaying in bearish momentum, but you still have 1 hour and 45 minutes left. Let's see if by the end of this 4 hour candle, you close down a little bit, and then maybe this bearish momentum continues to build. Overall, pretty neutral on the 4 hour too, if we're being honest. So if you do move up, don't get too excited because it is pretty neutral, so anything could happen. But I'm sticking with the downside idea. Again, if we move up, I don't expect it to be too dramatic. I certainly don't expect we'll get above yesterday's highs. But even then, still, we're not out of the woods. Remember, you guys, to answer someone's question yesterday, and probably multiple people's question, at what point do I accept that I'm wrong and that we are going higher? First off, I think we will go higher in a matter of no time at all. I think we're going to be at new all-time highs very, very soon, a lot sooner than most people think. And I think this bull market ends whenever Bitcoin's at $500,000 or higher. But before that, I would say that I think we're going to see a lower low. And in order to prove that wrong, we'd have to get above about 117.5K. And actually, it's not that. We keep changing that up. Sorry. All right, I keep doing this exact thing, and then I'm like, no, it's actually get above here. Close the day above there. Close above 116.9K. Do that. Close above 116.9K. If you can do that, I'm wrong. Yeah. Multiple days above 114K would also make me start to think that I'm wrong. But 116.9, you close one day above there, I will accept defeat. I'm wrong. But until then, we're maintaining the stance that we're going down to clear out some of these liquidations, these liquidation levels down here. We're just going to refresh this. I'm sure some shorts have been taken off and some longs have been taken off. It is Saturday. Come on now. Nope, they're about the same. Anyways, this island of longs gets demolished once we hit 105K or lower. So something down around there. That's where I think we're going to go. And then afterwards, we will have a lot of upside to engage with. I actually want to look at the daily indicators again. Rejected the 50 area. Today's green for now, but we're not that green at all. We're up 0.25%. So and again, Saturdays normally do close red, so that would be bearish. Stochastics would come down a little bit. That would be bearish as well. Right now they're crossed up, which is kind of nice, but you're in this area that you found resistance. If today closes red at all, that won't be crossed up. It'll be crossed down, so that's bearish. And then perhaps the MACD won't be having a green pip up either, which would also be bearish. But we'll see. Time will tell. We can have green pips sometimes that don't mean anything, right? It just promotes a lower low inevitably. You know, here you had a green pip and it did nothing, and you still saw a lower low. So, but the last time we crossed up, we did get a higher high, just to send us down to a lower low. A little bit of volatility there, but looking at the daily time frames overall, I think that they are bearish. I think that we have lower to go, but time will tell. We'll see how it goes. I mean, momentarily, I should say. Overall, they're actually bullish, but momentarily they're bearish. Yeah. Weekly time frame here. Zooming out, bouncing off the 50 area, bouncing off the 50 area. Bullish overall, but you just crossed red. Oh man, that's the problem, isn't it? We didn't even address this. I should have addressed this, because every single time this bull market, literally every single time, this might be the worst thing, and we were trying to avoid that last week. Damn, that's right. Every time, look, right here, we crossed red. We crossed red right on this week here. No, not that week. Come on now. There you go. No, why do you keep doing that? Why do you that week right there? There we go. We crossed red on this week to the left right there. That week right there. And then we also crossed red here. Every single time this bull market, which this is literally every single iteration since the bull market began back in January of 2023, every time we've crossed red, we were stagnant. We did not see the price really start to move up again. Here it was June 5th. We didn't see the price start to move up again until October 16th. Okay. Here it was April 29th, 2024. We didn't see the price start to move up again really until September, but really the price really didn't kick off until October. Here it was February. The price did not kick off again until April. So at the very least, that would imply, what, 2 months of consolidation, right? 2 more months of boring price action / slightly lower price action. I don't see that happening. And the one thing that has me a little bit optimistic is the fact that this iteration here, we did pump afterwards. It's just the results overall were the same in the sense of consolidation. Okay, we did have a higher low here. It wasn't a lower low, but it was an overall. And let me just zoom this in a little bit. You can see that was just an overall boring kind of consolidation phase. You guys remember this, unless you're brand new to the markets, but you remember this. What's nice about that is we did cross down to the red side, and yet we did pump up. We had a nice week. 2 weeks later, 15% up for Bitcoin. So it's not that it can't happen. And I would think here we weren't at new all-time highs. So if we pumped up 15% here, we'd be at new all-time highs. That might be enough to change this dynamic. But I don't like that, right? If I'm being honest, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, the fact that the weekly MACD closed red is a bit of a hiccup. But even though the last 3 times in a row have promoted multiple months, if not several months of consolidation, this one might be different. And I feel like that's kind of a bold call, but I would say 3rd time's the charm, but in this case it'd be the 4th time. 4th time's the charm. We'll see how it goes. I'm very bullish on the weekly aspects otherwise. I think that they're very nice. And I mean, we could pull up the ribbon as well, looking at this here. EMA ribbon. I mean, very, very bullish. We're right at the area that you'd expect to bounce. Right at the area you expect to bounce. But in that kind of same scope, every time we've hit the ribbon, what have we done? We didn't bounce right off of here. We didn't bounce right off of here. We did bounce right off of here. And that's that one kind of exception I was talking about, right? The ribbon was more contracted. It's kind of different. I don't know. Let's see. We don't have the stochastics and stuff. That's okay. We go back to the prior cycle, and we do like to bounce right off the ribbon typically, right? But whenever you get into it, you do consolidate for months. So it depends on our reaction here, right? I would say at most next week could go into the ribbon a little bit, but if we close a week sizably into the ribbon, that might also promote the idea that we're going to consolidate for a couple months, which is just weird, right? Are we going to consolidate until November? Is September going to be neutral and bearish? Is October going to be neutral and bearish? And August is going to be neutral and bearish too? That just doesn't sound right. But just because it doesn't sound right doesn't mean it has to happen. Or it doesn't mean that it can't happen. Anyways, just some stuff to think about. Again, to make it clear, I don't think that we're going to consolidate for months from now. I think that this consolidation phase is going to be shorter. Again, another thing to kind of contest that, if we look at this here, these Binance USDT margin borrow interest rates, they tend to spike very high, very, very high when we go in these multi-months, right? This is that multi-month consolidation from March until September. This is that multi-month consolidation from basically December until April, right? And we had very large spikes. Here we didn't have this spike. It was a relative high point in the spikes, but it wasn't as high of spikes. So that makes me think this is going to be a shorter-lived, not a longer-lived consolidation phase there. But we'll see. We will see. In 2021, yeah. Anyways, I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. I don't think we're going to consolidate for multiple months, but just some stuff to think about. And depending on how we close the next couple of weeks, that could really be incriminating to the fact. I do expect this to be a slow kind of crawl down. So the fact that it is the weekend and the fact that we have today and tomorrow, I think we could close this week green, which gives us another week to fight. We might move down, find our low. We could even close in the ribbon, but if that next week closes back up, as long as we're not closing 2 weeks in a row in the ribbon, I think that we'll be fine. Maybe next week we even come back up and we don't even close 1 week in the ribbon, but time will tell. Hit the like button, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.